Sandra Day O'Connor, March 26, 1930, December 1, 2023, was an American attorney, politician, and jurist who served as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States from 1981 to 2003-2006. Nominated by President Ronald Reagan, O'Connor was the first woman to serve as a U.S. Supreme Court Justice. A moderate conservative, she was considered a swing vote. Before O'Connor's tenure on the court, she was an Arizona state judge, and earlier an elected legislator in Arizona, serving as the first female majority leader of a state senate as the Republican leader in the Arizona Senate. Upon her nomination to the court, O'Connor was confirmed unanimously by the United States Senate. Sandra Day was born on March 26, 1930, in El Paso, Texas, the daughter of Harry Alfred Day, a rancher, and Ada Mae Wilkie. She grew up on a 198,000-acre family cattle ranch near Duncan, Arizona, and in El Paso, where she attended school. Her home was 9 miles from the nearest paved road, and did not have running water or electricity until Sandra was 7 years old. As a youth, she owned a .22 caliber rifle and would shoot coyotes and jackrabbits. She began driving as soon as she could see over the dashboard and had to learn to change flat tires herself. Sandra had 2 younger siblings, a sister and a brother, respectively 8 and 10 years her junior. Her sister Ann Day was a member of the Arizona legislature from 1990 to 2000. Her brother was H. Allen Day, a lifelong rancher with whom she wrote Lazy Bee, growing up on a cattle ranch in the American Southwest, 2002, about their childhood experiences on the ranch. Upon graduation from law school in 1952, O'Connor had difficulty finding a paying job as an attorney in a law firm because of her gender. O'Connor found employment as a deputy county attorney in San Mateo, California, after she offered to work for no salary and without an office, sharing space with a secretary. After a few months, she began drawing a small salary as she performed legal research and wrote memos. She worked with San Mateo County District Attorney Louis DeMatteis and Deputy District Attorney Keith Sorensen. When her husband was drafted, O'Connor decided to go with him to work in Germany as a civilian attorney for the Army's Quartermaster Corps. They remained there for 3 years before returning to the States, where they settled in Maricopa County, Arizona, to begin their family. They had 3 sons, Scott, born 1958, Brian, born 1960, and Jay, born 1962. Following Brian's birth, O'Connor took a 5-year hiatus from the practice of law. O'Connor said she felt a responsibility to demonstrate women could do the job of justice. She faced some practical concerns, including the lack of a women's restroom near the courtroom. 2 years after O'Connor joined the court, the New York Times published an editorial that mentioned the 9 men of the SCOTUS, or Supreme Court of the United States. O'Connor responded with a letter to the editor reminding the Times that the court was no longer composed of 9 men, and referred to herself as FWOTSC, first woman on the Supreme Court. In 1993, Ruth Bader Ginsburg became the second female Supreme Court justice. O'Connor said that she felt relief from the media clamor when she no longer was the only woman on the court. In May 2010, O'Connor warned female Supreme Court nominee Elena Kagan about the unpleasant process of confirmation hearings. Upon her appointment to the Supreme Court, O'Connor and her husband moved to the Kalorama area of Washington, D.C. The O'Connors became active in the Washington, D.C. social scene. O'Connor played tennis and golf in her spare time. She was a baptized member of the Episcopal Church. O'Connor was successfully treated for breast cancer in 1988, and she also had her appendix removed that year. That same year, John O'Connor left the Washington, D.C. law firm of Miller and Chevalier for a practice that required him to split his time between Washington, D.C., and Phoenix. Around 2013, O'Connor's friends and colleagues noticed that she was becoming more forgetful and less talkative. By 2017, back problems led to her needing to use a wheelchair and to her moving to an assisted living facility. In October 2018, O'Connor announced her effective retirement from public life after disclosing that she had been diagnosed with the early stages of Alzheimer's-like dementia. On December 1, 2023, O'Connor died in Phoenix at the age of 93 due to complications related to advanced dementia and a respiratory illness. After her death, Chief Justice John Roberts called her an eloquent advocate for civil education and a fiercely independent defender of the rule of law in a public statement. President Joe Biden said she was an American icon, dedicated to public service and the bedrock American principle of an independent judiciary. iCivic's board chairman Larry Kramer said that O'Connor was kind and generous and relayed that iCivics was her